Premier Racing Setups is the longest running setup shop on iRacing. Our monthly subscription options start as low as $20 a month. We offer setups for dirt oval, asphalt oval, and road racing, covering a wide range of cars and skill levels. Built and tested by top-tier sim racers, this isn't just a business, it's a community of competitive drivers. If you want to better your iRacing experience, head over to PremierRacingSetups.com today. And remember, if you don't get one, you're going to chase one.
Well, good evening, race fans, and welcome to Championship Night for the North-South Series Grand National Stock Cars. Tonight, we will crown a champion. But before we do so, 200 laps are in store for the Championship Night 200. And alongside me is my good friend, Kelly Dahl. We've been covering this series for the last 9 weeks. The checkered flag will get waved on tonight, but we have 200 laps in store here at the historic Nashville Fairgrounds.
Yeah, and a very fun track to be closing out the season here at Nashville Fairgrounds. It is a nice, tight, short track. It's basically what we've done about, I'd say, about a good chunk of this season. There's been a lot of short track racing, a couple of intermediates thrown in there, and of course Daytona, because what stock car series is complete without a trip to a super speedway? But we're closing it out here on the short tracks before we head off to our late model stock series.
Absolutely, and if you're interested in that, head on over to the North-South Racing League's Facebook page, drop them a message. They'll have all the information on how you can get involved with the series. But taking a look at the information for tonight, Kelly, 118 miles on tap here. They've had 14 races here for the North-South Racing League's series. 8 of them been in the street stocks, 3 with the late model stocks. We've had 2 races with ARCA's. Recent winners have been Ryan Johnson and Randy Nichols. We'll take a look here at the point standings coming into tonight. Ryan Johnson extends his point lead over Randy Nichols by 21. Headed into the championship night, Scott Austin is third. JJ McRae and Josh Nelms, your top 5 here tonight. Is the points recap after 9 races look like that. And Kelly, tonight Ryan Johnson is in attendance. Looks like the 69 of Randy Nichols did not, but that doesn't mean that the chase for the championship is over. With the way the drops work, Randy had not missed any week, so tonight would potentially be his drop week. We can find out exactly what's going to happen with that, but I believe either way, we got a lot of tight point battles throughout the field that we can cover here tonight. 14 Grand National Stock Cars signed in with this very historic Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, and I still think they're trying to get NASCAR back to there, Kelly.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about that, a lot of opposition, a lot of support, and it is quite the mess, and we could go on for hours about all of that. But yeah, it is, you mentioned, a very historic track here in the Nashville Fairgrounds, and Nashville's a little spoiled because just outside of the city as well, they also have the Nashville Super Speedway, which is a fantastic track in its own.
Yes, absolutely, and that's a big that's a mile and a half, Kelly, concrete tri-oval. That puts on some good shows there as well. And this area does not look like that in the real world. They've got soccer stadiums and everything else around the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Built it right up, and I think that having a NASCAR event on this racetrack would just be fantastic. But tonight, we are blessed to have the Grand National Stock Series Championship Night here, as we got to thank our sponsors for this season. We'll start off with Sandy Paws Rescue. Can't thank them enough for everything that they do for the North-South Racing League. How about Robbie Clavey over at RC2 Promotions and RC2 Graphic Solutions, making us look good. He does all the graphics for this league. You can do it for your league or your real business. Look up RC2 Graphic Solutions today. ZooFab Garage, if you need a tune-up and they're in the area, ZooFab Garage can get you up and running, get that up to the speed with your upgrades or whatever you have for your racing and driving car needs. And how about our friends over at Mad Plowing? Well, spring is coming. Get that locked in for your groundkeeping here this spring. But if we do get those pesky snowstorms, they are the kings of snow plowing. Give them a call. Well, Kelly, we are getting ready to go here with some qualifying. Our final trip here to find out who the top 8 will be when we get here. It looks like J.J. McCrae will be the first one of the first cars up onto the racetrack.
Yeah, him and Travis Hoffler entering the racetrack pretty much the exact same time. We got Matt Cook and Jeff Bergener also out there along with them. So first lap's underway here, and it's going to be the 77 and the 1 putting down the first times at nearly the same time here as they come down the back straightaway together. All right, we'll wait and see. The top time in practice was an 18.364. What is going to be the first time up on the board? Travis Hoffler comes across the line. He will put down an 18.804. Matt Cook, 18.833. Nothing from JJ McCrae, so I'm assuming he may have tagged the wall. Jeff Bergener now going to the top of the board, 18.524. See if any of these drivers can improve on their second lap. Hoffler coming across the line. He'll improve to an 18. Oh, that's JJ McCrae with 18.547. Hoffler 18.656. So right now it is still Bergener who improves his time even more to an 18.521.
18.521. Now coming up onto the speedway. How about Josh Nelms in the 00? He'll jump to third quick as the Zoofab Garage DCD entry of Dustin Shepard makes his way onto the racetrack. He'll get the green flag. This time off of turn number 4. Shepard doing here, one of the admins, I believe, at the North South Racing League. I still think he wears that hat, Kelly. Looks like lap number 1 going to be a throwaway.
Yeah, just running up high, trying to build up some speed, build up some heat in the tires. It'll be a 19.0 from him. And now we'll see what that 89 machine can do if he can top that 18.521 from Jeff Bergener. Here we go, coming through 3 and 4, watching the 89 come across the line. What is it going to be from him? He's going to go to the top of the board. Dustin Shepard, 18.473. So he is now going to be the quickest car out on that racetrack. But we still have about half the field to go here. Adam Gable coming around turn 4, getting ready to set his first time of the night. And it'll only be good enough for 5th at now.
Yeah, right now good enough to be inside the J&D Farms top 8 redraw, the final one of 2026. Is Ryan Johnson up on the racetrack. Lap number 1 will be good enough for 8th quick. Brian Hacker comes across the line. He'll go 8th quick on lap number 1 with an 18.997. Hacker, one of the faster cars in practice. JJ McCrae was the fastest car in practice this evening. As now Scott Negus will jump to 3rd. Hacker's going to get loose off the corner. He still slides in for 3rd fastest here in L's Speed Shop fast time qualifying.
Got Negus on his second lap, improves, but just misses Dustin Shepard. Is a 18.477, so 4 thousandths of a second separate him from the fast time award, so he'll come up just short there. We still have a couple of cars left to go. Rodney Huntoon and Scott Austin out on the track right now.
Rodney Huntoon taking the green flag in the GMRC number 12. Huntoon's been throwing down some flyers here with the Grand National stock car. Scott Austin will slide in 10th quick on lap number 1. Austin in that number 5 car. A winner this season with the Grand National stock cars. They come off the corner, and Scott Austin will go 6th quick with an 18.561. Here comes Huntoon. Looks like our final car to take time. Huntoon will cross the line. He'll go 6th quick in a 18.552. So Dustin Shepard looking like he's going to hold on, Kelly. His time is about to expire. for the final Al Speed Shop Fast Time Award. Tonight we'll go to the number 89 of Dustin Shepard.
Yeah, Dustin Shepard putting down the fast time here tonight, and we will be talking to him just a moment, along with the rest of our top 8 as we get ready for our top 8 redraw.
And tonight's top 8 redraw is brought to us by J&D Farms. Now, don't bother Googling it. It's not a real farm. It's just J&D Farms is the brainchild of a self-proclaimed crazy redneck who just thought iRacing was cool and wanted to see his name on the broadcast. Well, I can get down with that. We respect it. And whether you pull the lucky number 1 or get stuck with the dreaded 8, remember it's all thanks to J&D Farms, supporting racing, supporting the show, and an official legend of the North-South Racing League. And Kelly, we are in our final top 8 redraw of the season, and it's hard to believe that tonight this is it.
Yeah, this is it. The last time we'll be going to the top 8 redraw, as you mentioned. And we'll be shuffling the field around just a little bit here, seeing if we put any of the fast drivers out in the midfield or maybe swapping things up, see who's going to get the pole here. But I believe you're going to be catching up with our first driver. That's going to be winner of the Al's Fast Time Award, Dustin Shepard.
We are catching up with the final Al Speed Shop Fast Time Award winner here tonight, Dustin Shepard, coming out swinging early at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Will that parlay to your efforts here tonight? A big, long race, 200 laps, a lot of real estate to get around here at the Nashville Fairgrounds.
Yeah, so I hope I can keep the right front on it like usual. So the car's turning okay, so I think I'll be able to run with the guys for a while. We'll just see how it plays out.
All right, sir. Well, you know the deal. You're the first one to do so. So any number 1 through 8, what number would you like?
Oh man, let's just stick with 3. Do it for Dale.
Do it. Going for Dale, and you're going to be on the outside of row number 3. P number 6. Can you get it done from there tonight? A long race, a long time.
Definitely. There's a lot of things that can happen in this long race.
All right, sir. We wish you the best of luck. Thank you, and we hopefully will be talking to you here at the end of tonight.
Thank you.
All right, Dustin Shepard, your Fast Time Award winner, is going to start P6, Kelly, as he's taken number 3.
Well, I'm going to catch up now with the second fastest driver of the night. That's going to be number 55 of Scott Negus. And Scott, it is a long race here tonight, 200 laps. Pit stops definitely going to come into play. Have you got a strategy mapped out, or are you just going to kind of play it by ear here tonight?
No, I've been. I ran a lot of practice laps. I'm going with a very conservative steering ratio. Let's put it that way. So I'm hoping tire wear is not going to be that big of an issue for me.
Well, we are under the lights, so that will probably help you out a little bit here, but let's move along to our actual redraw here. The number 3 has been taken. Other than that, 1 through 8, what would you like?
Number 5, please.
Number 5 coming off the board, and that's going to slide you back a little bit. Unfortunately, that is P8 for you here tonight, but do you still think that's your tire strategy is going to be able to carry you to the finish?
Yes, sir. I'm going to hopefully take it easy and keep the nose clean until the last 25, 30 laps.
All right, well, let's see if that will pay off for you. We'll be keeping an eye on you here tonight, and good luck to you, Scott.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
So Scott Negus draws the dreaded number 8. He'll be starting pretty much smack dab in the middle of this field, but Al, he sounds pretty confident about his strategy.
Yeah, it sounds like he's pretty good. Another driver is fast here tonight. The driver of the 21 of Jeff Bergner, making it once again into the J&D Top 8 redraws. Jeff, what do you got to do here tonight to change your luck to end the season on a high note?
Well, first of all, get some talent. Second of all, get a setup that rotates middle, then I might have a chance.
Well, sir, tonight, 200 laps, plenty of pit stops, the long distance race. Is that going to fit into your wheelhouse, you think?
No, I always screw up the pit stops pretty bad.
Well, sir, the numbers 3 and the number 5 have been chosen. What number would you like?
Let's go 7.
7, all right. Well, you're going to be on the inside of row number 3, starting P number 5. What do you think of that?
Yeah, that worked. At that point, it doesn't matter. This track's too wide. It's going to be top and bottom. It'll be good.
All right, sir. We look forward to seeing you put a show on for us, and hopefully we'll talk to you at the end of this one.
Thank you, guys.
Jeff Bergner going to roll off P number 5. Kelly, over optimistic about tonight's efforts.
Yeah, you can certainly say that. We're going to move on to our next driver here, Brian Hacker. Catching up now with Brian Hacker, and Brian, looked like there was a little bit of a mishap towards the end of your qualifying run.
Yeah, I was trying to get a little bit, I think, too much out of it there, coming off of 4, and kept it off the wall and managed to make the redraw. But if we would have kept that thing planted to the ground, I think we would have had a good shot at fastest time.
Well, at least you can say that you now know the limits of this car and where you can overstep them. But let's go on to our redraw here. What we've got left for you is 1, 2, 4, 6, and 8. And the good news is the pole is still out there somewhere.
Well, it's got to be number 2 then.
Number 2 coming off the board. It is going to be the inside line, but it is not the pole. It is a P3 start for you here tonight. How are you liking that for your starting position?
It's fine. I mean, it's 200 laps, so at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter where you start as long as you keep it clean. I think it's going to be a strategy race and a tire conservation race, and we'll try to do our best of both.
Now, let's see if that will work out for you. We'll keep an eye on that number 2 car here tonight. Good luck to you, Brian.
Thanks, Kelly.
So Brian Hacker rolls off P3 and apparently does have a fast car with him here tonight.
It did load it off there. Another driver that was fast and qualifying to not parlay that. But the number 77 of J.J. McRae with another fast hot rod out there. J.J., what's it going to take here to get this 77 in victory lane this season here in the final race?
We'll see. I think it's going to take some patience. Probably going to be some long runs. So we're going to try and conserve some tire and see where that lands us later on in the runs.
All right, sir. Well, we're halfway through the redraw, so the good news is front row is still available. Numbers to choose from are 1, 4, 6, or 8. What number would you like?
I'll take 6.
6, all right. It's not going to be a front row start, but it's going to be row number 2 on the outside, P number 4. Are you going to be able to manage those tires starting on the outside early on in this race?
Yeah, I think so. That's kind of where I'd like to be. See how the outside works. The inside seems to feel a little tight, so get a roll around the outside and see what happens.
All right, sir. Well, we wish you the best of luck, and hopefully you'll bring the 77 home in the post-race show positions.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
All right, J.J. McRae will roll off P number 4. Kelly, is the front row still out there? Here comes the man that likes to pick the front row, Rodney Huntoon.
Yeah, catching up now with Rodney Huntoon. Rodney, one last time this season here under the lights. How has the car been feeling for you tonight?
Don't quite like the feel of this car tonight. I think the best thing I'm going to have to do tonight is save tires.
That is pretty much what we've been hearing all throughout the night. It's going to be a tire conservation race, but what we got here for your redraw, good news for you, the whole front row is still open. We've got here 1, 4, and 8 for your numbers. What would you like?
Let's take number 4.
Taking number 4, and it is not going to be the front row. It is going to be a P7 start for you here tonight. So one spot back from where you qualified. Do you still think you've got a chance at the win here tonight, though?
Let's just hope we get a top 5 tonight.
All right, we'll see if you can maybe aim a little higher, maybe a top 3. Maybe we'll be talking to you later on, but good luck to you.
All right, thank you, Kelly.
So Rodney Huntoon will be rolling off in 7th, and Al, our last 2 drivers are going to get the front row.
Yeah, we're going to talk to the driver of the number 5. Scott Austin is next. Scott, before we go any further, the good news is you have a front row starting spot.
All right, I'll take that. I like where this is going.
Sir, I mean, you've had a great season, went to victory lane this season. I know that these cars are not necessarily in your guys' wheelhouses as what's coming up in the next few weeks, the late model stock series. Hopefully we'll see the 5 car in action there too. But this season, you're up there inside the top 3 in points, but chance potentially for a top 2 position here in the point standings. How would you look at this season looking back?
Yeah, we're excited to get on to the next. We dusted off the late models and we're getting them painted up, but I'm proud of this one. We just really stayed quiet and tried to learn as much as we could. Tried to stay humble with where we were at. We got to win somehow. So we'll try to end it the same way. Hopefully stay P3, if not move up 1 spot.
All right, sir. Well, the good news is you're on the front row, so it's a 50-50 shot at the pole. You could choose either the number 1 or the number 8. Which one would you like?
We'll take the 8.
Going to take the 8. That's going to be outside front row. P number 2 for you. What do you think? We know this track is 2 and 3 wide sometimes.
Yeah, we'll see how the grooves play out and how tire wear happens. A lot of guys chew up the right fronts, so maybe if we can hold them low, we'll have something for them at the end.
All right, sir. Well, we wish you the best of luck here. Congratulations on making it into the final J&D Farms redraw for the Grand National Stock Series. We hopefully talk to you at the end of 200 laps.
Thanks for a great season, guys. Have a good night.
All right. Scott Austin going to roll off P number 2, and that means, Kelly, that this man is on the pole.
Yeah, here now with Josh Nelms. And Josh, we're going to make it real quick for you here tonight. You do not get a choice in your starting spot, but there's some good news. The boys left you the best spot of all. You are going to be starting on pole here tonight. I think he's so excited that he can't speak. Josh, have we got you? All right, well, either way, Josh Nelms will be rolling off in the pole position here tonight, Al. And like I said, I think he's a little too excited to even speak to us tonight.
Yeah, I mean, do you blame him? I mean, you get there, you had a qualifying run, made it into the redraw, and it's going to get you a pole start. Can't beat that with a stick. So congratulations to Josh Nelms, and congratulations to all of our racers that are here tonight. The checkered flag waves, and that'll be the final J&D Farms Top 8 redraw for the Grand National Stock Series. We want to thank J&D Farms for being a legend and supporting our show here in the North-South Racing League. We can't do it without you. As now it is time for tonight's 200-lap season finale. And this is your starting lineup here tonight. Starting on the pole in car number 00, it'll be Josh Nelms. Outside of him, the driver of the number 5, Austin Designs. Number 5 of Scott Austin. Rolling off in P number 3, the number 2 of Brian Hacker. And outside of him, Canada's most favorite driver, J.J. McRae. Jeff Bergner will roll off 5th, and outside of him will be Dustin Shepard. Rolling in 7th will be Rodney Huntoon, and my favorite Canadian driver, the Blue Oval Racing entry of Scott Negus. Rolling off 9th will be Adam Gable. Matt Cook will roll off 10th. 11th will be Travis Hoffler, and rolling off in P number 11 will be Matt Cook. Chad McLeod, and Ryan Johnson, last week's winner, will have to start shotgun in P number 14, Kelly, in the field, starting to roll off behind them. The last jitters of the season as the cars form up behind the pace truck.
Yeah, everyone lining up for one last run here tonight. Josh Nelms going to be out on the pole, still trying to get these cars sorted out here before we go green flag racing. 200 laps here up on the board. And like the driver said, it is going to be a long night and a very tire-saving night.
That it will, and right now Ryan Johnson will roll off P number 14. Comes in with a 21-point lead over the championship. Here, can he get it done here tonight to claim the Grand National Stock Series Championship? We will find out. But Scott Austin and Josh Nelms up on the front row of this one. For the final time in 2026, the Grand National Stock Cars will roll into the start zone. Barney with a green flag in his hand. Green is up, and we are underway.
Nelms and Scott Austin both getting good starts here. Going to be side by side through turns 1 and 2. Coming off of turn 2, it is going to be Nelms with a better run there, as Scott Austin had to check up a little bit on the high side. Not going to be cleared yet. He's not giving up on that high side. Still trying to stay side by side at the 00 car. That time at the line, and there's going to be just by a nose. Austin on the outside. Austin maybe making that outside line work here early on here tonight, and his teammate Brian Hacker taking a peek now. He's going to go to the high side as Nelms loses out on the lead to Austin.
Yeah, working the outside. Here comes Hacker, the outside. He'll take the number 2 car, the P number 2, and he's bringing the 21 of Bergner. Bergner with a nose down low. Can't quite do anything with him that time off of turn number 2. These air pressures are down. The cars have the maximum grip right now. You give it a few laps here. This racetrack really worn out, Kelly. A lot of bumps around this racetrack that can make you jump up and make a mistake whether you want to or not. You can hear the throttle right there as we are on board with Bergner, just burping that throttle through the corner, trying to get this horsepower hooked up with these General tires.
Oh, and there's a big checkup from JJ McCrae. Nearly caught Dustin Shepard off guard coming off of turn 4. Shepard going to slide past the 77, move him up into the top 5. But JJ McCrae, I don't know if he hit a bump or was just a little too early on the throttle. It looked like he was heading right for that outside wall. Had to lift right in front of Shepard, but some good reactions from the driver of the 89 to get around there. So we've got a 4-car battle starting to shape up here for our race lead. Scott Austin holding on to it right now, but here comes Hacker. Good run off of turn 2, but just could not quite close up the gap. Now it is starting to turn into a 3-car battle. Nelms falling off a little bit, but Jeff Bergner closing into the back bumper of the number 2.
Yeah, he's sitting there right there, and I tell you, Bergner has some pace here. You start to see that back end slide a little bit. And early on this race, Kelly, 200 laps, you kind of want to take care of those tires. Maybe that is what Nelms is doing. All right, he said, all right, got pinned down on the inside. Let's regroup, settle in here. It's a long race, and the first 5 cars have really separated themselves by a couple car lengths over the 7th place running of Negus. Adam Gable up to 8th spot. 9th is Huntoon, and Ryan Johnson from 14th already inside the top 10 early on here as Hacker runs that higher line through 1 and 2. Getting a run there, but stays tucked in behind his teammate, the number 5 of Scott Austin.
Yeah, he's running about 1 lane up higher through the middle of the corner and then drops down on the exit to get a good run, and that is going to give him the inside here going through 1 and 2 side by side coming off of 2. It is going to be Hacker by a nose here, but Austin carrying some good momentum on the high side. So we're really seeing 2 lines really shaping up here tonight. And that battle's getting tight once more as Nelm starts to close in, as well as Dustin Shepard. Hacker going to get himself clear of the 5, but now here comes Jeff Bergner. He sticks his nose into the inside of Austin. Bergner side by side with Austin coming down the back straightaway. The high side's got some momentum. Bergner, though, sliding up through the corner. He's going to try to get a run off of turn 4. They're going to touch just a little bit there coming to the line. And that time it is going to be Bergner scored ahead, but Brian Hacker now starting to open up a gap by quite a bit. Oh, Bergner gets turned hard into the outside wall.
Him and Scott Austin coming to a stop, and our first man plowing yellow flag of the evening comes out. I believe, did Rodney Huntoon get a piece of that, Kelly? He did. Heavy front end damage to the number 12 car. Left front tire is at least down on the 12. As hard racing there. Let's take a look back here and see if we can see what happened. They come off turn number 2. They were side by side. It looks like Bergner maybe caught that apron, and then they just got hooked there, and that's all they wrote. And it looks like Huntoon. Well, let's go on board with Rodney Huntoon to see what happened. And a season that's been tough for the 12 cars is going to end on a tough note here.
Yeah, it just ended up coming in too hot there and gets the back end of Gable, and heavy damage to both of those cars. A lot of the field coming down pit road. Pretty much everyone in pit road right now. Scott Negus stayed out, and he was the only car to do so. As Rodney Huntoon tries to get into his box, see if he's got anything to fix up that damage. Adam Gable also trying to bang out the rear end of that car, see if he can fix his machine up. Jeff Bergner had to take a tow around the field, so he is going to lose a couple laps here, and that car does look like it's got a bit of damage as well.
It does. It looks like Scott Austin on pit road. He's going to roll off now. Scott Negus, though, did not come down pit road, Kelly, and looks like the 5 of Austin going to get caught 1 lap down, as he did not beat the pace car, or did he, off of pit road? I don't think he did.
I don't believe he did. He's still staying behind the 55 of Negus, and yeah, he will be stuck 1 lap down here, so Scott Austin going to have a little bit of a ways to go to get himself back up onto the lead lap. But good news for him, there is still a lot of time left in this race. We're only 15 laps into the 200 laps scheduled tonight.
Yep. And what do you think of the call here as they come down? I believe next time by they will do the choose. No, this time choose being presented by Mad Plowing. Here in Mad Plowing is your go-to landscaping company in Oregon, Wisconsin, specializing in snow removal during the winter and mowing services all summer long. Whether it's clearing your driveway or keeping your lawn pristine, they got you covered. Give them a call today at 608-217-3528 for all your landscaping needs. That is Mad Plowing, proud sponsor of our Choose Cone.
And here we go. Scott Negus leading the field to green. Pace car is away, and then Negus going to get a decent jump there, but on the shift, looks like he may have missed that shift initially, because here comes Brian Hacker on the outside. He's going to get clear before turn 2, and Hacker going to sail off on those fresh tires while Negus seems to be struggling, even though those tires are only about 15 laps old. Everyone else is just flying by that 55. His Nelms also gets by him, and now here comes the 89 of Shepard. Oh, Negus going to slam the door shut right in his face.
Yeah, someone better check the forehead of Dustin Shepard as the door was slammed, as Kelly said, side by side. Hoffler going to go around. And that is going to be to Austin's benefit as long as he was not involved. He's going to get that quick wave around, Kelly.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like there was a bit of a double incident there as Hoffler went around, got loose in turn 1, and then I think there was a little bit of contact between Jan Jannon and the 15 of Cook, which sent another car around, and I think, unfortunately for Gable, he got a part of that one as well. He cannot seem to find any sort of luck tonight.
Hoffler goes around, and there goes that one, and like you said, Matt Cook. There, we'll see what happened to Cook. Oh, Janna moved up the racetrack to give Hoffler some space, and it looks like Scott Austin made it there around, so we will keep our eyes on him. Scott Negus stays out onto the speedway, though, currently. And it looks like here comes Scott. He'll get the free pass. So just what Scott needed to get back on the lead lap after getting caught on the pit area there. So got to be on the lead lap to win it, Kelly. And I won't lie to you, I was a little nervous for old Scotty with having 12 cars left on the racetrack. I wasn't sure if we'd see another yellow flag or not.
Yeah, he lucks out early here with a quick caution. He's going to be back on the lead lap, as you mentioned, and I think that car may be all straightened out. He was down pit road for a good amount of time on that first stop. It's looking fairly clean, that number 5 machine, so he may be back in contention here. He's just going to have to climb his way through the field.
Brian Hacker up front leading this one after starting in P number 3 here tonight, as Josh Nelms, your pole sitter, sits there second. And I don't know about you, Kelly, but I was fairly surprised how much better those tires looked on, at least on the initial get up on that restart. How much the fresh tires seemed to be more important than what Scott Negus had on his. And Scott still has yet to pit early on in this race.
And it seems like he has got a strategy, and he's going to be sticking to it here tonight. And right now, it's not too bad for him. He's still sitting in 3rd place, and if these guys quickly burn off their tires, he will be right back into it. But we'll see what that 55 car has in store. We come to the Mad Plowing Choose Cone. Brian Hacker taking the outside, unsurprisingly. That outside lane has been working quite well for him.
And Scott Negus is going to jump right there into spot number 2 as the 00 of Nelms slides in there as they'll head through turns 3 and 4 and into the restart zone. Hacker steps on the loud pedal, and we are back underway.
Oh, Nelms looks like he may have missed a shift there again as he nearly dropped back into the 89 of Shepard. And now look at the 38 of Ryan Johnson. He's already surging his way to the front here. 4th place for the 38 machine. And he's looking for more here as he is on the inside of Nelms. Nelms getting a little bit high there off the corner. But he is still going to hold on to 3rd place for now. That outside lane doing well. But look at the 38 rolling that bottom side. And now let's look at Scott Negus as well. He's not falling off like he was on that last restart.
No, Negus right there staying on the back side of the number 2 of Hacker, but here comes Ryan Johnson taking a look to the inside. He's looking to draw even with him into the corner number 3 and 4. As you look out the back side of that car, 2 by 2 behind them with the 89 of Shepard and Nelms as Johnson trying to take that number 2 spot away. Early on here, just 25 laps complete of tonight's championship 200, and here he comes. Negus fights back on the outside. Can he make it work up on the outside with those older tires? He does so far. And right there, I held my breath for a moment, Kelly. The 38 seemed to clip that apron, and we know how much that upsets any car here at Nashville.
Yeah, he's able to hold on to it and still rolling that bottom side. Cannot quite get clear of Scott Negus. Negus really rolling that high side well, but this time coming off of turn 2. Ryan Johnson. Oh, Dan Janjanin goes sideways off of turn 2. He is in hard in the inside wall. Comes to a stop against the outside wall, and that is going to bring out our 3rd caution of the night.
3rd yellow flag presented by Mad Plowing coming out here tonight for the number 2 of Dan Janjanin. And it looks like he might have just lost the handle of that car. Let's take a look here and see. He comes working to the inside. Oh, got over those bumps in 1 and 2, and it really upset the car. And hard contact to the inside wall, and a back up across, and then a quick tow to pit road. So a tough break for the driver of the number 2. And this time, everybody but Brian Hacker heads pit side.
Yeah, Hacker's going to be the only car staying out this time. We'll have to see if that's going to play into his strategy, but Scott Negus is going to finally pit for the first time. And we'll see what these drivers are able to do on this pit stop as we see Negus coming to a stop just behind the 89 of Shepard. Who's going to win this battle off of pit road? And it is going to be Negus who comes in for a very quick stop. Probably just only 2 tires along with JJ McRae. He's going to go up into 3rd place. Ryan Johnson appears to have taken 4 tires along with the rest of the field. So everyone going to be on 4 fresh tires except for Negus and McRae, who are going to be on just 2 tires. And Brian Hacker, who is on an old set of tires. He pit on lap 13, but also did only a two-tire stop then.
And I don't hate the call, Kelly. Why not try it early on? It's early in this race. Why not see what 2 tires feels like? I like the call. It's one of those things where I think you got the strategy. You have to play the strategy out to see what it's going to take to end yourself up in victory lane. And who knows, you might get to a point later on in this event where 2 tires could be the difference in winning the race.
Yeah, it's good to see if 2 tires are able to compete against 4 fresh tires, and if it is really the right sides that you are leaning heavily on, as long as your lefts aren't completely worn out, they're probably not going to do too bad here as we go to the Mad Plowing Choose Cone. Brian Hacker once again taking the high side, Negus to the inside. JJ McRae going to be rolling off on the high side alongside Ryan Johnson.
So that they will do is they went through the Mad Plowing Choose Cone zone here tonight. Getting a workout out there. We had a couple races. I don't think we even had a single yellow flag the last couple races. A fairly clean race, at least not that I recall, Kelly.
We did have a couple at 5 flags last week, but yeah, most of this series has gone green to checkered. But Brian Hacker getting the green flag once again. He's jumped out to a huge lead right off the bat here. Scott Negus having to fight back against JJ McCrae. McCrae going to drop back a little bit, and here comes that 38 of Ryan Johnson. He wants to claim not only the championship trophy, but a race trophy here tonight.
There he is. He's working the inside. McCrae challenges back to the outside. Shepard right there in the 89 as well. He's hanging tight on that left rear quarter panel of the tilt load, number 77 of McCrae. McCrae works the outside. Josh Nelms runs in 6. Here comes Scott Austin. After that mishap, bring out our first yellow flag. Scott Austin tapping on the door for a top 5 with the car number 5. So I believe you were right, Kelly. The team doing a good job on pit road to get that 5 back into contention early on here. Your top 3 cars breaking away from this battle. Shepard will now clear McCrae. Now McCrae under attack by Nelms.
Yeah, Nelms trying to move himself up into the top 5 here, but he's going to have to fight with JJ McCrae. McCrae holding that high side here, but the inside line with a good bit of a send can't make it work, and that is going to work out for Josh Nelms in the 00. And Ryan Johnson now up for second place. He's going to go to the inside of Negus, who goes way up the racetrack, and it is going to be an easy pass for Ryan Johnson. I don't know if Negus was just letting him go or if he was maybe caught off guard by the 38 car suddenly slotting into his inside.
Yeah, it might have been one of those things, maybe a little bit loose on braking into the zone. Now all 3 cars wrap the bottom of the speedway. Here comes the 38 car, who's right to the back bumper. Hacker did not pit that last time by, remember, so out there on a little bit older tires than the guys that are pressuring of Johnson to the inside, trying to take the race lead for the first time tonight. Ryan Johnson down low. Hacker fights back on the outside. 1 car sideways. That's Chad McLeod, and he's going to bring out our 4th yellow flag of the evening as the field will get slowed once again here. So these track conditions proving to be a little bit tough for the racers as McLeod will go around. I believe that will give a free pass to the 91 of Adam Gable. And Gable finally having something go his way tonight.
Yeah, it seems like there is something tricky with turn 2, as though the tire marks there from Chad McLeod were almost identical to Danjay and Jan, and those two going through the exact same slide there going into the inside wall. And this time, once again, everyone coming down pit road. So everyone's just trying to see if they can have as fresh of tires as possible here. But so every time there isn't a caution, just we're seeing the entire field come down now.
Well, the tires are unlimited, so why wouldn't you? Brian Hacker going to take 4, and we saw Dustin Shepard 2 in a way. Scott Negus and Josh Nelms with 2 tires. Stop. Hacker will come out 6th.
I don't think that was even 2 tires from Dustin Shepard. He was stopped for 4.5 seconds. I think that was just a top up of fuel and send him right back out there.
I think you might be right, Kelly. Let me take a look here. It only been 11 laps since the last time that they were on pit road. Hacker went 27 before this set of pit stops. So, gutsy call by the 89 of Dustin Shepard out here on the racetrack. Set the Al's fast time here tonight in qualifying.
Yeah, Shepard here now taking control of the race lead as we come to the Mad Plowing Choose Cone once again. Shepard electing to take the outside. He's been seeing what Brian Hacker has been doing, and Hacker, with that last stop, taking 4 tires, dropped a ways through the field as a lot of other drivers elected to only go for 2, or in the case of Dustin Shepard, no tires.
Yeah, Shepard, I like the call, Kelly. Yeah, try something maybe a little bit different. I like it.
Well, we will see very shortly if it'll work out for him here as he leads the field towards the green flag. Dustin Shepard in control for the first time here tonight, and he's going to get a good start here coming off of turn 4. Scott Negus now going to be side by side with Josh Nelms going through 1 and 2. And look at the 38 of Johnson. He's sailing it on the high side around the 77 car of McRae, and now he's going to get all the way up alongside Negus there going into turn 3.
This car really seems to be suiting the driving of the 38 car this season. Ryan Johnson, Randy Nichols have been the class of the field week in and week out. It does seem that way so far this season, as now Johnson slides into third. How about McRae? He'll slide underneath the number 55 of Scott Negus. Both those drivers in the Ford Mustang. As they work here is McRae, Negus, Hacker. Your top running Fords, they're all chasing the Chevrolets of Shepard, Nelms, and Johnson. No Toyotas in the field here tonight, Kelly.
No, it does not seem to be that way, but Scott Negus now having to defend against Brian Hacker. Hacker sliding through on the bottom side. Now here comes Travis Hoffler trying to follow him through as well. And Negus, something not quite going right with him, or maybe he's just trying to really save those tires, expecting maybe a longer run this time. I think he's hoping that the field has sorted out the issues, have figured out where the cars get loose here, and maybe he just may be getting ready to go for a long drive here and try to save those tires while everyone else burns them up.
Remember, he said he was going to run a conservative ratio with these cars. They're all on the same setup, so you're allowed to play a little bit of brake bias with the steering ratios, and what that means is you either have a really quick steering box where it's going to be, like I call it, twitchy, or you can have a real lazy one where you got to put a lot of wheel input, and it all really benefits the driver in your style. You can save tire, you can burn tire, it all depends on how you drive behind the wheel. Everybody has their own ideology of that, Kelly. Not sure what you like, but I have always liked, especially with like Grand National Stocks or the Street or the Xfinity or O'Reilly cars, as they are now dubbed. I always like to have a little bit of higher of a ratio. Seem to suit the car and being able to save the tire a little bit.
Yeah, and here comes Ryan Johnson trying to go for second place, nearly getting into Josh Nelms into that quarter panel. He has to check up, and now JJ McRae trying to move in on the high side. McRae seems like he's got some speed, but now he's got nowhere to go as Johnson and Nelms go side by side here into turn 3. Johnson rolling that bottom side like he has done so many times here tonight already here as we go past the quarter-way mark of this race. Now on lap 53 here, Johnson still trying to get past Nelms, cannot quite get clear, but he's slowly inching ahead with each corner, and now McRae going to drop down to the bottom side, trying to see if he can follow Johnson through as Brian Hacker closes in.
Yeah, they come back around here. Shepard out front by a quarter of a second, but look at the time get chewed up as a 38 and a good wrench. Number 38 of Ryan Johnson really drawing to beat their top 5 cars underneath the blanket. A little bit of a gap back to Negus. He's feeling the pressure from the one of Hoffler. Is now Brian Hacker on the attack. He'll slide up underneath the 77 of McRae. McRae with a head of steam down the backstretch. Crossover move in the turn 1. He'll go from the high side to the bottom side, trying to make something happen around the 00 of Nelms. So far, Nelms hold on, and here comes the 2 of Hacker. Hacker on the outside of the speedway off of turn number 2. He'll take spot 4 away as they single file it out and had that run of speed there, but it cost McRae 1 spot in the running order just in a matter of laps.
Scott Negus under fire once again. Hoffler got through that time, and now here comes Scott Austin as well. So Negus going to drop back even further, and like you alluded to, he is going to try to run that more conservative race, trying to take it nice and easy on those tires. Drivers that are not taking it easy, though, Ryan Johnson, Dustin Shepard, he is trying to make the move for the race lead. Just behind him, Brian Hacker going up the inside of Nelms. We have got a 4-car battle here towards the front of the field. Now a 5th car getting involved. JJ McRae coming in on that high side as Johnson moves to the bottom there, try to get through past Justin Shepard, but Shepard rolling that high side nicely. He's going to still hold on to the lead at the line, but we'll see what the 38 can do. He's got a lot of speed on that bottom side, especially off of turn 2, and he's going to get a great launch down the back straightaway.
Yeah, having a great forward drive there, and he's going to take away that top spot. Here comes Hacker. He's looking to take the spot number 2 away. Shepard fights back, hangs on the right rear, but it's short-lived. The 2 of Hacker now looking to chase down the 38 of Ryan Johnson. Johnson out front trying to secure the 2026 Grand National Stock Car Series Championship. Could do so here tonight, and especially with an exclamation point if he could go to victory lane, but 140 laps to go. And tonight's championship, 200 Johnson, Hacker, Shepard, your top 3. I tell you, the field really closed back in as now they are closing in on Shepard. 00 of Nelms, he's feeling pressure from the 77 of McCray. That's the battle for the 4th spot. Hoffler and Austin battling it out as well. You saw the top of your screen there for just a moment.
And Nelms having to defend against McCray. McCray looking like he's got some pace right here, and he's going to have to find a way past Nelms shortly because Hoffler and Austin both starting to close in just a little bit here. We've only got 9 cars left on the lead lap, and a lot of them are bunched up right together here. Pretty much the only cars breaking away are Hacker and Johnson, who are starting to run away from the rest of the field. Shepard really having to defend against Nelms as Nelms tries to look to the inside here. He's going to get his nose to the inside in turn 3. Coming off of 4, you're going to see the advantage a little bit to the 89 of Shepard, but through 1 and 2, Nelms sliding up the racetrack, pushing the 89 a little bit higher up the track, up into where it's a little bit cooler, but there's a little bit of marbles possibly building up there. There's quite a few cars that are running the high side, but there's not a lot of grip if you go even higher there, though.
Yeah, you can see down from the blimp camera where the most of the rubber has been laid down there. I will say, Kelly, it is widening it out just a little bit there. As you saw McCray get just a little bit sideways up off of turn number 2 as they click off another lap. Brian Hacker and Ryan Johnson, your race leader is Johnson, and he is holding on to about a 0.4 of a second lead right now. Scott Austin on the attack now. He'll look underneath the number 1 of Hoffler, and Kelly, I don't know about you, but the back side of that number 1 car, that chicken looks awfully scared for Travis Hoffler.
Yeah, Hoffler trying to hang on the high side just in front of them. JJ McCray getting his nose to the inside of Shepard, but Shepard getting a good run off the high side on turn 2. He's going to hang on to his position there in 4th place for now. But JJ McCray has not given up just yet. Hoffler going to tag the wall off of 4, and that's going to allow Austin through. And Scott Negus now going to try to get through on the bottom side. Negus is going to clear the 1 of Hoffler. Hoffler having to drop back and just let the 55 through right there. So Hoffler maybe tried to let his tires cool off a little bit, maybe feeling that he's put a little bit too much pressure on them here on this run.
That it looks like they are as they are working there. Negus starting to roll his way back towards the front of this field as JJ McCray now on the attack. He'll sling it down to the inside, trying to tilt his way into the spot number 4 around Shepard. Shepard with a good run off the turn number 4. Bringing Scott Austin into this as well. Good battles all here for inside the top 5. Austin looking to crack it as he's trying to figure out which lane to go with. McCray puts the nose out front for the time being. Here comes Shepard. He'll swing it back to the outside. Shepard and McCray side by side, door handle to door handle off of turn number 2. McCray with the advantage this time in the turn 3.
Yeah, McCray slowly inching forward, slowly getting ahead of the 89 of Shepard. Shepard tagging the wall now. Not only is he going to lose ground to the 77, looks like the 5 of Austin going to go up the inside. But he's going to fight back now, try to regain control. Oh no, he's going to have to check up off of 2. Looks like he was about to get the wall again. That's going to allow Austin through, and now Negus going to be to the inside of Dustin Shepard. Shepard having a horrible lap there, losing 2 spots and inviting in a battle for another one. And he's going to have to try to fight back against Negus here as Hoffler just kind of lurks behind and waits for an opportunity to slip through.
Yeah, Hoffler working the outside there. That is, he's in the P number 8 there, Kelly, and we are about 34-ish laps, 35-ish laps since we went back green flag. The longest green flag run of the afternoon so far is now Hoffler will slide underneath Dustin Shepard. So Shepard back to the 8th spot. He's got some distance between himself and Matt Cook, who runs in P number 9. Is Ryan Johnson out front, but he's starting to feel that number 2 car get a little bit bigger in that rear view mirror.
Yeah, they're running nearly identical lap times, and those times are also faster than the rest of the field. They are running away from this. These guys are about 2 seconds ahead of Josh Nelms, who kind of sits by himself back there in 3rd right now. Nelms kind of on an island, a couple seconds back from Hacker and a couple seconds ahead of McRae. But these last couple laps, JJ McRae has been closing in, though that time Nelms turned up the heat and he got a fairly quick lap. But Johnson, fastest on track right now with a 19.0.
Yeah, last time by 19.094. Then Hacker, Nelms in the 1. So the other car in a 1 last time by. Well, that was Scott Negus. Is the times will update there. You see what last lap times were. Johnson fastest, but not by much, Kelly. It looks like the number 2 able to match stride with him just a little bit, but that race lead stretching back out after it had shrunk just a moment.
Yeah, and it's now up over half a second once again, getting a little bit further here as Johnson seems to have found the pace compared to Hacker. Hacker staying close, but just cannot quite match the times Johnson was. So seems like Johnson allowed Hacker to get a little too close, then went, okay, time to go full throttle again and push the tires a little bit more. As now he's starting to open up about a 10th a lap on the 2 car.
Yeah, right now in this long run stint, cars starting to separate themselves around the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Kelly, I don't know if I didn't get any notes on fuel length, but I feel like they should be able to at least go to about lap 140 on fuel. I feel like 100 laps on a tank of fuel here tonight. So potentially just one more stop here tonight at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, assuming that the yellow flag, the man plowing yellow flag, will stay in the holster of our flagman Barney. You see Hacker searching around for a little bit of grip as he's right there trying to stay with the 38 of Johnson. Johnson out front doing a masterful job. He's coming up on the back side of the 15 of Cook. Cook is headed pit side here on lap 84. Johnson off a turn number 4. He'll take the lead as the battle, though, is back here with McRae, Austin, and Hoffler. Those drivers are all there. Negus as well. Those drivers nose to tail. Closest battle on the racetrack is for spot number 4.
That is the tightest battle here in the field, about 3-4 tenths separating each of these cars as they all run fairly similar lap times. That time Negus creeping up a little bit. He's starting to run a little bit faster. And speaking of lap times, Johnson was 0.2 of a second ahead of Hacker that time. So Hacker seeming like he was falling off a little bit, or maybe he's just trying these few different lines here, trying to figure out where he can gain some time on Johnson. And that time, actually, it looks like he found it there as he's actually gained a little bit on Ryan Johnson. That interval was about a second, and now it is starting to come down once again.
Yeah, last time by a 27 to a 23, so they are just holding on to that gap there as we watch the 77 McRae. Tell you, Scott Negus, though, starting to creep back into this one. I know so only 6 seconds behind the race leader, but looking to take that 5th spot away from Scott Austin, and his car seems to be a little bit better right now, Kelly, in this juncture of the race. Maybe they'll saved a little bit of tire there, fell back, and now making a charge here on lap 89 as they work down the backstretch, this time off of 4. It'll be 89 laps in as we start lap 90, closing in on lap 100, which will be the halfway point of the Championship 200 here at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway for the Grand National Stock Series. We want to thank you all for tuning on into tonight's broadcast as Ryan Johnson looks to rank up and win the 2025-26 championship here tonight. And Kelly, if he would do so by going to victory lane, we would have a very ecstatic, happy driver.
Yeah, I'm sure he would be thrilled to not only win the championship, but also win the final race of the season. But he's going to have to do so by beating the rest of this field. Brian Hacker still staying with him, but the fastest car on the racetrack right now, JJ McCrae, he is about a 10th faster than anyone else, about 2/10 faster than the guys behind him.
I don't know if you're watching this or you see it in the line, and Hacker is closed in, but he's almost up in that 4th line, Kelly. And he is closing in on the race leader. He is running a very unique race line around Nashville with his car, and he's closed the gap down now to just over a half a second.
Yeah, the gaps are getting tighter here in a couple parts of the field. Hacker closing in a little bit on Ryan Johnson. Negus still staying close to Austin, but Austin finally starting to pull ahead. And we got to keep an eye on JJ McCrae. He is still lapping consistently faster than the top 3, sitting there in 4th place. That time a touch slower, so not going to gain anything there. But JJ McCrae may have something in store for us here tonight.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what we're going to get here out of McCrae as things have really changed up front, Kelly. Underneath a half second now, Brian Hacker has found something in the 38 car, getting a little bit squirrely that time off of turn 2, and we have a race for the race lead, this time off of turn number 4. And I tell you right now, Hacker and Johnson, 1 and 2, the gloves are off. Who wants to lead the halfway? You would think that the halfway point had $1 million, but that 38 of now Johnson headed pit side to start our first cycle of green flag pit stops, and you think that'll pull everyone else in?
Hoffler seems to be the only one who have come down along with them. Dustin Shepard actually coming down as well, so we'll have to see what the rest of the field does. Brian Hacker, though, electing to stay out. He wants to keep going. He seems to be confident as he suddenly was able to drop his lap times back into the 0.1s along with JJ McCrae, but now we're getting a lot more of the field coming down pit road. Looks like Hacker, McCrae, and Negus the only ones staying out for now.
Yeah, they are out there on the long haul, and they're going to bypass once again as next time by the cross flags will be up. Lap 100 is started as Hacker leads. And this will be a tell of the time once these cars come off of pit road how much you want to do there. It looks like Brian Hacker going to hit the brakes and he slides onto the pit road, so he'll come to pit. Your race leader is now going to be JJ McCrae. He stays out on the racetrack, and he'll be the only car that stays out on the racetrack currently. Scott Negus, excuse me. He's going to stay out on the racetrack as well.
Yeah, so McCrae and Negus trying to go long here, see if that will work out for them. Negus now coming down pit road. JJ McCrae, though, electing to keep going, so he will stay out on the racetrack. Brian Hacker now getting back out onto the track.
And
we'll see how far behind Johnson he's going to be. Johnson going to come around him on turn 2. So Brian Hacker going to be just behind the 38 car, not by much. And he is going to be on fresher tires by a couple of laps here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens is at the halfway point. McCrae is your race leader over Johnson, Hacker. Nelms now into the 4th spot around Scott Negus as Negus comes off of pit road. And it's really tricky there. You got to stay on that apron all the way through turns 1 and 2 and come out by the cone off of turn 2 before merging. If not, you get a penalty. And it looks like 9 cars remain on the racetrack as Cook, Janjanin, McLeod, Bergner, and Huntoon all behind the pit wall early here as we just are past the halfway point of the championship night. And it looks like the 77 of McRae going to come pit side this time, Kelly.
So JJ McRae going about 5 laps longer than anyone else here. So he really pushed that car as far as he could go. It may cost him early on here on the drivers that are undercutting him, but it may work out. We'll have to see what the 77 will be able to do towards the end of this next stint, because he'll be able to carry some speed a little bit longer than these other guys. So quick stop for him. It looks like only 2 tires. Only Scott Negus was the other one to have taken 2. Everyone else took 4. So that will help him a little bit here as Josh Nelms goes around him on the exit. But it is going to be, after our pit cycle, Johnson, Hacker, Nelms, McRae, Negus for your top 5. And then Austin, Hoffler, and Shepard rounding out the rest of the field. So first cycle of green flag stops done and dusted. And let's see if these drivers are going to push or let these tires last here. Brian Hacker appears to be pushing hard to catch up to Ryan Johnson. Johnson running about a 10th slower than Hacker that last time by. Hacker was actually the fastest car out on the racetrack.
Yeah, that he is there, Kelly. You got, sorry about that, got disconnected mic-wise for a moment. Is Johnson out front? And as I was saying it, you couldn't hear me. Is now that we've had this first, green flag pit cycle, we've seen this before. The field kind of gets spread out, everyone kind of running their own race, and it is a long race here tonight. These drivers got to mind their P's and Q's, hit their marks. It's easy to get distracted out there, especially when you get spread out. These drivers doing a great job like they do week in and week out. But Hacker starting to close in on Johnson, who is out front, trying to lead some laps to get those bonus points here tonight to secure that championship. Brian Hacker looking to play spoiler in P number 2. Nelms runs in 3rd, and JJ McRae is 4th, and Scott Negus rounding out your top 5 with car number 5. 6th place is the number 5 of Scott Austin, and he's had quite the eventful night here tonight and find himself inside the top 10, sitting there in P number 6 after trouble earlier between himself and the 21 of Jeff Bergner. Travis Hoffler runs in 7th. Dustin Shepard is 8th and is your final car on the lead lap. 1 lap down is the number 9 of Adam Gable, and everyone else off the racetrack or behind pit wall.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a race of attrition at the early stages of this event, but we've got everything sorted, and we have been running green for quite a while here. And now the lead is shrinking. Brian Hacker has closed it into about 0.6 of a second, now getting in closer to about half a second here. He has been pushing hard, running about 0.1 of a second faster every single lap since he came out of pit road. So he is really pushing hard. We're going to see if that is going to cost him later on in this run, as he is pretty much the only driver that has been getting into the 0.7s there, as JJ McRae was actually fairly close as well.
And I don't know if you're paying attention to it, Kelly. His line is quite different as we go on board the ZooFab Garage blimp cam, running up a lane higher, kind of diamonding that corner, getting a straight run off the corner, and it seems to be making a lot of speed for that Austin Designs number 2. And in 1 and 2, he runs a little bit higher once again. But Kelly, look at the speed down the backstretch. That's where he really gains his corner exit, and down the straightaways, he's able to close in on Johnson. But we know Johnson has speed. He went from 14th to the race lead. And about 50 laps here tonight. Aided, yes, we did have a few yellow flags, but we know the 38 car has some speed. Do you think that Hacker has found something, or is the 38 just trying to save some tire right now as he makes the race of it? Hacker there for the race lead, swings to the outside. We've got a race for the lead off of turn number 2.
think Johnson is kind of saving the tires a little bit here, but he's going to have to step on it because Hacker is right on top of him, and Hacker diamonding the corner well coming off of it. He really stays up high there through the through turns 1 and turns 3, and then both in 2 and 4 he ducks down and tries to launch off these off the corner for these long straightaways. And we'll see if that is going to be enough to get by Ryan Johnson. We know Johnson wants to hold the inside. Oh, that time Johnson may have tagged the wall, and that is going to provide an opportunity for Hacker. He's going to stick a nose up the inside going into turn 1. Lap 121 here as Hacker goes for it, but he gets a little loose off of 2, and that is going to allow Johnson to slide back into the race lead. Hacker not done just yet. Going to dime it off the corner once more, and cannot quite get there, though, going into 1.
Cannot quite get there. Falls back in line behind the 38 of Johnson, but the top 2 cars nose to tail, and that is the closest battle on the racetrack right now. Is for your race lead. Jam-packed grandstands here at the Nashville Fairgrounds for the season finale for the Grand National Stock Series as Ryan Johnson leads it here as he works down the backstretch. Hacker all over the backside of him, swings to the extreme high side, diamonds the corner off. Is that time Johnson able to pull away from Brian Hacker just a little bit, Kelly? Yeah, Hacker got a little bit loose there.
Yeah, Hacker's struggling with gaining control of this car, maybe just pushing it a little bit too hard, but Johnson has turned up the heat as well. He's starting to try to push, to try to open that gap back up, but Hacker not letting him get very far. That time, Hacker a little bit faster on the lap time. We're going to have to keep our eyes on these two drivers. It is a big battle for the race lead building up here. That time Hacker looked like he may have had an opportunity to dive into turn 3, but backed off. He's going to set it up here off of 4, once again getting a little bit loose, and Hacker just cannot quite find a way to get that power down.
Trying to do so as they work down the backstretch, nose to tail there, and Hacker pushing his car. If you know Brian Hacker out there, folks, you know he loves to win. He is trophy hunting, missed a couple races this season, loves the short track stuff, and he is trying to beat Ryan Johnson. He told me this week that him and Johnson have some spirited battles. He just loves to race, especially the North-South Racing League, and he loves to go to victory lane, and he is trying to do so one more time in the Grand National Stock Cars before they get put to bed. And the late model stock series will come up next here on the Turn 3 Racing Network in a couple weeks' time. They have some recruitment races. So if you're watching North-South Racing League and you want to race with these drivers, you can do so. They are looking for racers. You can head on over to the North-South Racing League's Facebook page. They'll get you all squared away and get you in for what you need to do to become a race car driver right here in the North-South Racing League. And Kelly, one of the best leagues on the iRacing platforms to race for. We love to see someone that may be out there watching tonight on the racetrack with us in season number 3.
Yeah, there's been some fantastic racing all through the season, as well as last season in the street stocks, and there's going to be some fantastic driving here for the late model stocks as well. As that is one of the most popular seasons for these drivers. I'm sure we're going to have some bustling car counts for those ones, and we are looking forward to that season starting. As we keep an eye here on Hacker and Johnson, looks like Hacker may have slid a little bit coming off of turn 4 once again. And all these guys are driving around, battling it out. Nelms and McRae putting down some quick lap times. However, they're still a good distance back from Johnson and Hacker.
Yeah, they're about 3 seconds off these two that are racing. We keep the eyes on this battle. You saw Johnson starting to step the backside of that race car out, Kelly. I'm not sure how much he's saving as he's really feeling the pressure from Brian Hacker's lap. Traffic is coming into play in front of them. I believe that is Gable and Shepard, who currently run 9th and 8th respectfully, as they work off the turn 2 and down the back stretch here, as they're all trying to figure out how to get around to 38 of Ryan Johnson. Brian Hacker is there. Gable's going to bow out of that battle, let these race leaders go on by. as he was already one lap down to them. Now Shepard, on the other hand, he's going to want to stay on that lead lap, and that could really throw a wrinkle into this race for the race lead.
Yeah, we'll see how hard Dustin Shepard's going to try to stay on the lead lap when these two drivers catch up to him. They have been running a little bit faster than him these last few laps, so it'll still take a few more laps for them to get right onto his bumper. And it can cause a little bit of chaos here. We'll see what these two drivers are able to do, but Hacker's still right on the bumper of Ryan Johnson, but just cannot quite find a way past. Let's see here, coming off of turn 2, goes up and cannot quite get the momentum coming off the corner once again.
Could not as he works there. We are on board with Ryan Johnson, who's led 69 laps. Hacker takes a look to the inside. A little bit of a kiss to the outside retaining wall. Is now Hacker to the inside, trying to make a move up off of turn number 2 down the backstretch. Brian Hacker with a look to the inside. Can he make it work that time? Draws even, might try to use Shepard as a pick. Oh, contact between those two. Contact. Hacker shoves him up the racetrack. He'll try to cut underneath the 89 of Shepard. New race leader is Brian Hackers. He'll use Shepard as a little bit of a pick. Shepard bows out of the way. Here comes Johnson back to the outside. Brian Hacker will wrestle the race lead away from the number 38 of Johnson.
Yeah, Brian Hacker back into the race lead, but we are not done just yet. Johnson closing in on that inside line, but Hacker getting a fantastic launch off of coming from the high side to the low once again. And every time Johnson's able to get his nose close there in the corner, oh, Johnson slides down the front straightaway. And that's going to give an advantage to Hacker. He's going to open up that gap a little bit more. It is almost up to half a second now already.
Yeah, Hacker really pushing the gas pedal down as Brian Hacker out front. Hoffler leads there as Kelly, we look at the pit strategy. We are about 20-ish laps away from another round of green flag pit stops, I do believe, as it was around 57-ish, 55 laps since the last the last stint that was green. So we will have one more stop, if not potentially 2 stops in this race. Will we see something happen? For lap 143 closing in on the later stages of this event. I think once you hit about 55 laps to go, I think that opens the window for your final pit stop of the race.
Well, Travis Hoffler came down quite early, came down on lap 140 here, and he trying to maybe see if he can go to the end from there, but the rest of the field has not followed him in just yet, as Hacker continues to put down the fastest laps on the whole racetrack here. He is opening up that gap, and it is almost a full second over Ryan Johnson now.
Yeah, Johnson's car looks extremely tight up off of the corner as we go on board with the driver look here with the man plowing on the board camera. You can see Hacker's car away, and it really looks like it's kind of got that push loose feel look to it. Kelly watching his hands here, really over to about noon, and then it stays there. It snaps loose up off the corner, and he's chasing the back end of the car to the outside retaining wall.
Yeah, a lot of these drivers looking tight, but a couple of them able to look loose here. It looks like Brian Hacker has really pushed the back end of that car, so maybe wearing down the right rears a little bit to save the right fronts, and it is working out for him. He is flying away from the rest of this field, but JJ McRae also putting down some fairly decent lap times, that time gaining about 0.4 of a second over Josh Nelms. However, he has still got just under 3 seconds to make up to get up into the podium positions, as I just heard a car detonate. I think that may have been Dan Janjanen's car on pit road.
Yeah, he's been sitting there trying to get some damage fixed in the motor. I think expiring on the number 2 car is Brian Hacker out front over Ryan Johnson. Johnson looking at the win the war. 10 seasons long, or 10 races long this season. Ryan Johnson trying to become the champion as Brian Hacker leads out front of him. Josh Nelms is about 3 seconds back between him to third spot for the 00. As Nelms will have some lap traffic to get through the virtue of the number 1 of Hoffler. As Scott Austin peels off the racetrack, he's coming to the pit road in the Austin Design number 5. So pit stops underway, Kelly, as we are about 50 laps away from the end of this one.
Yeah, Negus has come down pit road as well. So looks like our final stop, or possibly final stops of this race going on right now, as we still have 4 cars left out there on the lead lap that have not pit yet. So Packer, Johnson, Nelms, and McRae trying to stretch it a little bit. And we saw McRae go all the way to lap 105 last time when everyone else was kind of pitting between 97 and 100.
Yeah, so McRae could potentially stretch it out a little bit further. Hacker's going to stay on the racetrack. Is Ryan Johnson stays out as well. Austin coming back out on the racetrack. He finds himself in P number 6. As he's right there behind the 38 of Johnson. And this is where it gets tricky. You got some drivers with fresher tires going to carry a lot more speed. If you're these leaders, you kind of just got to lay over, let them go at the time for the time being. Is the speed difference is, you're talking a second faster than what they are running right now here. As you take a look here, as Austin ran an 18.8 to Ryan Johnson's 19.3. So about a half second right there, Kelly, difference as they were racing there. Is once again, Johnson kisses the outside retaining wall with that right rear.
Well, Nelms is going to come down pit road, so there's going to be only 3 cars left out there that have not pit. Hacker, Johnson, and McRae. Hacker and Johnson now coming down pit road, so it is going to leave only JJ McRae out there as Hacker and Johnson come in for what should be their last stops of the night. And let's see, is this going to be it for these 2 drivers? Hopefully it is going to be a clean stop for both of them, where it's going to be a bit of an advantage for JJ McRae. He will not have to stop as long. He's not going to need as much fuel if he's able to stretch it out. So he may find a way to close in on these 2 drivers.
And Austin are both down in the way. Hacker's going to win the battle off of pit road as McRae still leads. So Brian Hacker able to get off of pit road first in front of Ryan Johnson. Did Johnson have any damage? Is pushing hard once again till he kisses that outside wall. The car doesn't look like to take any damage that time, but how many times can you hit that outside retaining wall before it's going to knock something loose?
Well, as long as these hits are gentle and he's just kind of scraping the side, it's not going to do too much to him. And I don't think he had any damage coming into pit road. His pit stop was pretty much the exact same time as Brian Hacker's. So one guy that has one out on this, though, Scott Austin, he's now sitting in what could effectively be 3rd place, depending on where JJ McRae slots out. He's able to jump a couple of cars there with a good stop. And he is now sitting in 4th place as the cars run, but he is about 5 seconds back from Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson runs there about a half a track, at least a corner away in front of him as they work around this racetrack. McRae still out front. How about last time by Ryan Johnson, the fast lap of the race with a 18.51 last time by the driver, the 38. Tell me he's not pushing it here, trying to stay up with the number 2 of Brian Hacker, trying to force Hacker into a mistake. And he is mirroring the number 2's line right now, Kelly. And we saw Brian Hacker run him down and pass him in that last stint. Now Johnson trying to figure out how he did so. He is going to school right here with the last 35 laps of this race.
Yeah, their lap times are close, but Johnson is just a little bit faster each time here. And he is closing in. It is one of the closest battles on the racetrack. Another battle that is shaping up is back there between Scott Negus and Travis Hoffler. As Hoffler has a slow launch off of turn 2. Negus going to slide on through and move Scott Negus up into 6 as Travis Hoffler comes down pit road.
Yeah, Hoffler coming down pit road is Johnson now is right there as they work around McRae. McRae still on the racetrack, Kelly, as Hacker is going to unlap himself. And here comes Ryan Johnson to do so as well. And McRae just kind of laid over, let him go. You think McRae's trying to stretch it to the end? Could he make it?
I don't know if he could go all the way to the end, but this overcut, I don't know if it's really going to work for him because he's losing so much time each lap. Nearly a full second now, and when he comes down pit road, which he is going to do now as he dives down there below the line, he'll probably be a lap down from Hacker and Johnson. So we'll have to see where he's going to come out in relative to the rest of the field.
On board with Brian Hacker, looking out the back side of him at Ryan Johnson, who's trying to secure the championship here tonight in the Grand National Stock Series. We will crown the champion at the end of this race, but who is it going to be? Is it going to be Ryan Johnson, or will Randy Nichols pull the magic out of the hat on the sideline here with a drop race? Was unable to make the tow to Nashville after a fantastic season last week. Did not go to plans. Had his worst finish of the campaign 1 week ago, and unfortunately could not make the tow here tonight. As Hoffler has pulled the one car behind, so something going awry under the hood of the number one car as Hoffler off of the racetrack.
Yeah, Travis Hoffler coming off the track here might be the end of his night. You see JJ McRae has come out in fourth place. He is right behind Scott Austin, and he is going to pressure Austin. He's got the fresh tires now. McRae with a very short stop. I think he only took 2 tires once again, so we'll see what he can do here for the rest of this race. He's going to make a move for third place there against Scott Austin. They're going to make contact in turn 1. Coming off of 2, it is going to be the 77 of McRae sliding out front in third place. But if he wants to go for the race lead, it is a long hill to climb because he is about 9 seconds back from Ryan Johnson. And Johnson, he's starting to lose ground to Hacker as well. He's sliding back about 0.2 of a second that last lap, and he's now about 0.8 back from Hacker.
Yeah, Ryan Johnson does not need to win the race. I think mathematically right now with a second place finish, Kelly, he would be considered the champion, but we have to race all the laps before we can crown him the Grand National Stock Series champion as he works around here behind Brian Hacker. No pressure from behind, so if he can finish these last 27 laps without incident, I think it'd be safe to say he could be the Grand National champion.
Yeah, it is pretty safe to say that Johnson will be the champion here tonight, but he still wants to come home with that race win. But Brian Hacker is basically saying that you're going to have to come and take it here as he is taking off from Ryan Johnson. There is another battle in the field, though, as Josh Nelms is right on top of Scott Austin. Austin lost the spot to McRae just a couple laps ago, and he has dropped right back from McRae, and now Nelms is right on top of him here. We'll see if that 00 car is able to move himself up one more spot.
Josh Nelms working here behind the number 5. Started on tonight's pole, trying to crack inside the top 5. 1 spot higher to the 4th spot. As Scott Austin works the outside of the speedway to hold on to that spot currently. 23 laps to go for Brian Hacker, who leads over Johnson, McRae, Austin, and Nelms. Your top 5. 6 cars left on the lead lap, and they have got Scott Negus right there, and the race leader not too far behind them, Kelly, with 22 to go.
Yeah, Nelms, though, just kind of lifted off there coming off of turn 2, so he lost a little bit of ground to Scott Austin. So I think Nelms maybe got a little tight and was going towards that outside wall, but having to recover now. He is still running a quicker pace than Scott Austin, so we'll see if Nelms can sort something out here. If he can set up a pass with the last few laps coming up here, just a little over 20 to go here as we cross the line to start lap of 180.
Yeah, that they are. And Nelms once again right to the back bumper of Austin as they work down here. And Johnson 1.1 seconds back of Hacker with 20 laps to go. Nelms to the inside of Austin. Austin gets a little bit sideways off of turn 4. He's really trying to hold on to that 4th spot. Austin came into tonight 3rd in the standings. I'm not sure if he would have a chance to get into that runner-up spot, Kelly, unofficially. But he came in about 20 points behind Randy Nichols. Right now needs to finish every spot possible to get up there to have one of his best campaigns in North-South Racing League history.
Yeah, still a very good season from Scott Austin here, but it is not done for him yet. He's still focused right on that car behind him right now as Nelms is just a 10th back, and he's going to go up the inside, trying to see if he can make that move up into 4th place, but Austin able to roll that high side nicely, able to hang on to the spot for now, so Nelms going to have to regroup, find another opportunity as Austin rolling the high side very well, and he's actually was able to pull a little bit further ahead there coming off of turn 4. Helms closing in once more, though. He is not done yet.
Not done yet here with 15 laps to go. With Brian Hacker over Johnson, McRae, Austin, Nelms. Scott Negus could become a factor into this and have a 3-car battle for that top 5 position. Negus is really closing in. These two as they battle it out. And Brian Hacker's opened up to a 2-second gap over Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, Hacker has just taken off after that last pit stop. He has just put the pedal down and has flown away. So he has got himself in a very comfortable spot here with 15 laps to go. Our closest battle is the one we've got right now between Nelms and Austin. Everyone else is a few seconds apart from the other drivers. Scott Negus, though, is slowly closing in, but he's going to have to turn up the pace if he wants to get himself involved in this battle to get into the top 5.
Yeah, he is closing in on this battle, about a second off of the battle between Austin and Nelms. And he does continually close in on these guys as they battle it out, trying to hold that spot. Hacker out front, 12 laps to go. Johnson looking to crown himself a Grand National champion. Can he hold on for another 11 laps to do so? Right now, Austin holding a pretty wheel, but I tell you, Nelms has changed his line 3-4 times trying to make something work. And he sees that 55 getting a little bit bigger in that rear view mirror. It could be a 3-way battle, and that could be disastrous for Hacker as he's going to close in on that battle. If those 3 cars really start to battle it out, he is right there on the same straightaway.
Yeah, he is closing in here, but we have got about 10 laps to go for Brian Hacker. So we will see if he's even going to be able to catch these drivers here. But yeah, Negus is closing in on Nelms. He's within a second now, getting in within about 7/10. Nelms still not quite able to find a way around Austin. He's about a 1/4 second back, running very similar lap times to Scott Austin, and just has not quite been able to find a way to get through.
That he has not, is Johnson has lost touch with Brian Hacker, just doing what he needs to do as we watch that battle for the 4th spot. Now a 3-car battle, and Hacker closing in on them with 7 laps to go as Scott Negus trying to make something happen to get in there to finish the season inside the top 5. He has closed that gap, and he has got a fast hot rod right now.
Yeah, his pace is definitely coming in, and it is surprising because he pit the earliest out of these 3 drivers. Austin on 150, Nelms on 155, and Negus on 149. So Nelms and Negus also apparently seem to have stopped for 4 tires, while Austin only did 2. So maybe the advantage that Nelms is seeing is not only his tires are newer there, he also got 4 full set instead of just 2. But Negus now right on top of them, just a handful of laps to go though.
Yeah, just underneath Barney with the high 5 for the number 2 of Brian Hacker, who sees this battle in front of him. Has a big enough gap, does not need to get in there. There's a little bit of bumper tag between Nelms and Negus that time. And that allows the race leader to get right there. Kelly, how hard is it as your race leader? You got 4 laps to go. You're in a good rhythm, but then you come up on a battle like this. You don't really need to be a part of it. You want to hold on to the win. You catch yourself in trouble with 3 laps to go as these drivers really rage battle in front of Brian Hacker.
I mean, right now they're not really side by side though. Negus did get close to Nelms that time, but Hacker getting a good run. He's going to check up a little bit. Hacker does not need to get past these guys. He's got a 4.5 second lead, so he is just driving his own pace, lifting once again. I think he's just going to sit behind these guys. 2 laps to go for Brian Hacker to close out the season.
Yeah, he will as he sees that battle. Negus with a look to the inside underneath Nelms. Hacker just wants to get back to the line. Barney waving a white flag. It's the mad plowing white flag of the race. As they work down here, Brian Hacker, 1/2 mile left to go. Came into the season, did not think he would like these race cars, and he is looking to be a 2-time winner and end the season on the high note. Brian Hacker victorious in the championship 200. Ryan Johnson crosses the line in second, and I believe we will wait for the tallies, Kelly, but I believe that will lock the championship up for the driver of the 38 of Ryan Johnson.
JJ McCrae will come home 3rd. 4th will go to Austin Negus, able to sneak by Nelms on the last lap. He's going to get himself the top 5 position. Josh Nelms will be the last car on lead lap in 6th. Then we will see Shepard 1 last lap down. Gable will be the last car running, and then we'll have Hoffler, Cook, Janjanin, McLeod, Bergener, and Huntoon rounding out the field.
Rounding out the field, and for the final time this season, Kelly and I are going to head trackside for the post-race show presented by Sim Racer Hub. Sim Racer Hub is the place where leagues keep it organized, from schedules and rosters to points, stats, and standings. SimRacerHub.com makes running a league simple so drivers can focus on racing. If you're looking to track your league the easy way, check out SimRacerHub.com. The official post-race show of the North-South Racing League as we head down trackside for the winner of the Championship 200, the driver out of Huntley, Illinois. He is unstrapping from the race car here tonight, and that is the driver of the number 2, Mr. Brian Hacker, victorious here tonight at Nashville. And Brian, this car really came to life that second half of the race. What did you find that really started to suit your driving and this race car?
I think it was less of what I found and more of we actually got some green flag laps to let what I had kind of come to life a little bit. I thought I felt like I could get the car to rotate better than a lot of guys, so I wasn't sure until we got a long green flag run, and then sure enough I was playing around with some lines a little bit and found some that worked, found some that didn't, found some that maybe saved tires a little bit better, and found some that definitely did not do that. So by the end of that first stretch there that before Ryan and I pitted, I felt pretty good and kind of kept some of what I learned in my pocket, and just knew that I had to get around him, and then once I got around him I had to make sure that he didn't do some Ryan Johnson bullshit pit strategy to get back around me. So glad that we were able to hold on.
Yeah, in the end of the season, right, give yourself some momentum. I know the late model stock series, a little bit of uncertainty with life and job and stuff like that coming up. But this is a good shot of momentum heading into the short off season, as you just gotta pull out those late model stock cars. How excited are you to get back to the nitty gritty of the North South Racing League?
Yeah, that's why I signed up for this league, and I think a lot of guys did. So we'll kind of get back to the roots of the league here in the next few weeks. Hopefully, we make as many as we possibly can. But that being said, like you said, we got a lot of life things coming up. Got a baby coming here in about a month. So that's certainly going to throw a wrench into some things. Would like to think I can make as many Monday nights as possible, but it's certainly not going to be number one priority as we kind of head into the spring.
Absolutely, nor should it be, but we always like seeing this number 2 car out on the racetrack. You're a fierce competitor. I know you don't necessarily like talking to me too much, so we won't drag this out much longer, but man, what a great season. 2-time winner and a car that I can go on record and look up and say that this doesn't really necessarily fit your taste buds for racing, but you found a way to win twice this season. Overall, a pretty decent season for the times you're able to come out and race.
Yeah, I think we missed 3 races, so to win 2 of 7 or whatever it is that we ran, 2 of 8, something like that. Pretty good and more than I expected out of this car. Like you said, not really my cup of tea, but I found something on these short tracks, and maybe it's just short tracks in Tennessee, but I learned some things at Bristol, and it carried over here tonight.
Well, congratulations on that win, sir. Congratulations on the new baby coming as well. But who makes it all possible on this 2 car to be here in Victory Lane for the final time for the Grand National Stock Series?
Yeah, I'd like to, as always, thank Scott Austin Designs. Good looking car. Pretty cool to do a little retro scheme. We don't do these too much, but I like it enough that you never know. Might have to pull one out here in the late model stocks too. But he had a good run fourth, and we'll see where he ends up overall in points. But minimum of thirds, a really good season for Scott. Boulder Beer Bar, Carbon Junction. Aberdeen Lodge, you guys for coming out and doing this. Special thanks to Kelly for kind of carrying your load here, and also the guys at North South Racing League for giving us a chance to do this. All the sponsors that help put this thing on every week: J&D Farms, Al Speed Shop, Zoofab Garage, Mad Plowing. I'm sure I'm missing some. Sandy Paws Rescue, all those fun ones. So appreciate those guys for doing what they do.
Well, congratulations, Brian, on the win, sir. We hope to see you on the racetrack as much as time will allow, but we always look forward to chatting with you. Have a good night, and congratulations on being winner. Don't party too hard with that Big Machine vodka down there.
Oh, it's too late for that. I beat Ryan at his own game for once, so he's going to have to take as many shots as I give him.
Oh, boy. Well, we better get in touch with him before you give him too many shots. Congratulations, Brian. Have a good night, sir.
Thank you.
Here you go. Tonight's winner of the Championship Night 200, Brian Hacker picking up the win. And Kelly, who do you got up next?
Yeah, I'll be catching up now with Ryan Johnson, our second place finisher. And here now with Ryan Johnson. Ryan was a grueling 200 laps. You had to come all the way from the back for a fight for the win. I mean, what was it like from your perspective?
Yeah, I didn't really know what to expect tonight. Car felt kind of weird. I don't really know how to describe it. It was hard to turn, but it was fun battling all them guys, trying to make it back to the front. I knew it was going to be difficult. I mean, short tracks, it's predominantly what we run here, and it's always a pain trying to, like, having that win from the week prior and having to start at the back. No matter how many cars there are, it doesn't get any easier, but fortunately there wasn't as big a field as we've had in the past when I've had to do that, so it's a challenge, but it's a lot of fun.
Well, points have been tallied up, and I believe you are going to be coming home as the Grand National Stock Car Champion. What does that mean to you after a full 10 race season?
Yeah, I love it. I love racing with these guys. winning championships is mainly what we race for. But yeah, it's awesome. I don't I don't really know how else to put it. I'm glad we were able to get it. It would have been more fun, I think, if had Randy showed up tonight. I think he said he got home from work late or something. But no, all these guys are a lot of fun to race against, and it means a lot being able to beat them. Had Hacker shown up all the races, I'm sure he would have been up there battling with us too. And I know Scott had a really good run, and a couple other guys. So that was pretty cool. Glad to come away with one. We probably won't be able to run a ton of the late model series, but I think we'll be around for at least a couple races, try and make a couple. But real life racing is going to be starting here sooner than we think, so we got a lot of work to do on those cars with our team. So we're looking forward to that now.
Well, it's going to be 2 weeks off until we come back for the late model stock series, and that first race is going to be at IRP. Are you going to be able to make it out to that one, or is it going to be a little bit longer of a wait before we see you back out here?
I'm not sure. I'll probably have to look at the schedule and try and go from there. It all depends on how much work on the real cars we get done, but I'll try to make some. It's like I said, it's so much fun racing these guys, and I try to make as much as I can. But I got a lot going on right now, so we'll see. I'm gonna try.
All right. Well, before we let you go, who would you like to thank for not only your second place run here tonight, but your championship for this season?
Yeah, I just got to thank all the admins and racers at NSRL putting this on, making this a really great league. I recommend it to a lot of people. I understand not everyone has a ton of time, but I love this league. You guys have been the booth for broadcasting these past couple seasons. My team After Dark, everybody tuning in and watching, all the drivers for a good race, another good race tonight, and yeah, all our league sponsors.
All right. Well, thank you for coming out and talking to us, Ryan. Hopefully we do see you out for a fair amount of the late model stock season. But if we don't, it was great to have you here this season. Congratulations once again on your championship. And we hope to see from you again soon.
Thank you, guys.
So that is Ryan Johnson, the second place finisher here tonight, and your Grand National Stock Series champion.
That he was, Kelly. A great season by him. And now we head to JJ McRae, who's going to come home third here tonight. And JJ got back to that podium, but man, you had your race cut out for you. Talk about how the racing was. You had a great battle back there with Scott Austin, part of the race. You had a lot of action around this 77 car all race long. Did you have fun to start off with?
Oh yeah, it's always fun. This is a fun track, and this is a fun group of guys to race around. So that's always a good time. And I'm new to the ARCA cars, but they seem to be a pretty decent time as well. So yeah, it's always fun racing around door to door.
Yeah, these race cars, we weren't really sure what to expect ourselves. As you know, North-South Racing League, more of a short track-esque one. We started off with the street stocks back in the fall of 25. Then these cars kind of picked up the middle portion of that. And, well, you guys put on a great show each and every week there. And how much different would you say these cars were compared to what you normally are running here in the North-South Racing League with the street stocks, late model stocks, super late models? How much do you think it was different behind the wheel this season?
A pretty good bit. I normally just run the same stuff as what this league normally is with the late models and street stocks and stuff. But these cars, you hear about how they're bigger and heavier, but then you get out and actually drive them and you really notice it then. Like, it doesn't sound like they're much heavier, but when you're driving them, you can feel the weight for sure. And they're a little bit harder to loosen up and to get a little bit of a slip out of. So got to work a little more at that, but they'll kill tires too. So you got to conserve, and it makes it a lot of fun.
Well, we had a lot of fun watching you all season long. You definitely came with speed every week here. Around out the season on the podium. Next season, the late model stocks back more into the forte of what the league is. Will we see this 77 car in action, and will you be part of that late model stock series coming up here in just a few weeks?
Yeah, I'm going to be there as much as I can be. I'm hoping to be able to make every race again and see where we end up with them in more of a late model type car, but it's about that time where I got to start getting my car ready for real life racing as well. So we'll see how things shake out and what we got for free time.
Absolutely, sir. Man, it's been a pleasure watching you all season long, watching all of you guys kind of grow. As you said, the car that you're not normally in or have a lot of laps in, and you guys really just show why you are the best of the best here on the iRacing platform with the North-South Racing League. And come home with that third place finish here tonight. And it was a grueling race. The start of the race had a few yellow flags here, then went green the rest of the way. How difficult is that to kind of make your pit selections?
Makes strategy tricky because you can't really commit one way or the other. You kind of got to keep yourself in a position where you're open to whatever may happen because it's hard to call. Like you said, there was so many short runs and yellows there early in the race, so I was just trying to save and just trying to keep the car clean at that point. It was a 200, I think, lap race, so or whatever, just trying to keep it clean for the first half of it and then get to racing towards the end, and that worked out fine. And then the long run, I didn't know how much I should save, so I didn't save a ton, but I think I still had some good speed towards the end. But just those guys ahead of me, they were class of the field, man. They were fast as hell, so I had nothing for them no matter what would have happened.
Well, sir, we appreciate your time and the efforts you put in each and every week. And, you know, to come home third with this group here tonight, we'll find out how the points shake out. But you had a decent season as well with, you know, looking at the overall there. But who makes it all possible for this 77 car?
Well, I got to thank you guys for putting the broadcast on. It's always a lot of fun to go back the next day and rewatch the race and see how it looked from outside the car and get some good intel regarding if I was pinching a guy a little more than I should have been, or if I felt like I was getting pinched, or if I was getting pinched as much as I felt. So that's always a lot of fun watching that. And then all the league admins. This is my first season here. It's been a great time. I don't know if they do a rookie of the year or anything, but I'm interested to see how it shakes out. And yeah, those guys and my fiance for putting up with all the time that goes into this.
Well, congratulations on your third place finish here. We look forward to see you, hopefully as much as time will allow, in that late model stock series coming up in a couple weeks, sir. I hope you're well, and we hope to see you at the start of the season.
Yes, sir. You too. I look forward to it.
All right, JJ McRae going to come home third here tonight, Kelly, and that will do it for our final post-race show of the season, presented by SimRacerHub.com. Visit SimRacerHub.com to keep your league or check out stats of your favorite league, like the North-South Racing League, and look at the upcoming schedules. And Kelly, a great night. Another one for the record books as we are done with the Grand National stock cars. The attention will now look over to the late model stocks that will kick off March 9th at the IRP International or Indianapolis Raceway Park for the race number 1 of that season. We do have a couple weeks of some recruitment races. Once again, if you're interested in becoming a part of the North-South Racing League, reach out to the North-South Racing League on Facebook to find out how you can become a racer here. Kelly, you and I are tabbed for the booth once again, and I'm really looking forward to the late model stock series.
Yeah, I am as well. Last year they put on some great racing, and if I remember correctly, that was the season that came down to a tiebreaker, possibly, or maybe that was the street stocks. Either way, it was very close. It was a great battle throughout the entire field. We should have some great car counts for that one, and it is looking like a very good schedule as well. Like you mentioned, starts off at IRP, then goes to Hickory, Kern, the Bull Ring, Martinsville, Nashville Fairgrounds again, South of National, Five Flags, South Boston, and then rounding it all out at Myrtle Beach. That is a fantastic schedule and should put on some great racing all season long.
Yeah, you were alluding to what happened last spring. It was Brian Hacker that went to the championship by 4 points. A mere 4 points over Guillaume Fortin. We hope to see Fortin them back in here. How about Philip Martin? We haven't seen him in a couple of seasons. Hopefully Philip can drag the 46 out of the cobwebs here and come out there. But we would be remiss if we didn't congratulate Ryan Johnson, your 2026 Grand National Stock Car Champion. Makes me a little bit sad, though, Kelly. He's not going to make a full-time season with the late model stocks. Would like to see what he could do with that. But, man, really thank you for all your time. We want to thank all the admins here at the North-South Racing League. Thank all the sponsors that made the Grand National Stock Car Series possible, like Sandy Paws Rescue, RC2 Promotions and Graphic Solutions, Zoofab Garage, Mad Plowing, along with J&D Farms, Al's Speed Shop for being our Fast Time Award winner each and every week for the driver that's at Fast Time and qualify. For all your RC needs, check on out Al's Speed Shop at thestandrcspeedway.com. And J&D Farms, we can't thank them enough. Hopefully they'll be back for be our redraw sponsor for the late model stocks, Kelly. But thank you for your time, and we hope to see you in a couple weeks here when we get started at Indianapolis Raceway Park.
Yeah, I will definitely be back for that season. I'm looking forward to that as well. IRP puts on some great races, and one of the few tracks that's in iRacing that I've actually been to, so I'm always looking forward to watching a race there.
Absolutely. We hope to see you guys there as well. Thank you for tuning on into the Turn 3 Racing Network from Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. This is Upstate Al, along with my friend, the Dark Knight, Kelly Dahl. We'll see you all at IRP in a few weeks' time. Until then, we'll see you in Turn 3. Congratulations to Ryan Johnson, your 2026 Grand National Stock Champion.